Hi everybody, yours truly here. Actually, my name's not yours truly, it's Terry Swails, meteorologist Terry Swails. And as you can see, I got the Christmas tree behind me here. Santa Claus is back on the couch there. And we're just watching the weather data roll in here. And this is a weather briefing then on the big winter storm, which will roll into the Midwest in the next 24 to 36 hours. And winter storm warnings are flying for many locations around the Midwest, and this all kicks in Saturday night and during the morning hours on Sunday. And traveling around the Midwest is going to be pretty hazardous. And yeah, we're back in the saddle here. Can you believe that? I think we're sitting pretty as far as this storm is concerned here in the Quad Cities, and I'm anticipating some pretty good accumulations around here. And we won't be the only ones. There's a lot of winter storm warnings that currently are in effect, and you can see those extend all the way from north central Texas right on up into eastern Iowa and northwestern Illinois, and finally right on through Wisconsin. Most of this is for snow, although in the eastern sections of the storm, that quadrant there will be enough warm air aloft initially for some freezing rain or sleet, but I think the dynamic cooling will cool the whole column of the atmosphere enough that this should switch over to snow pretty quickly. So I'm not expecting big sleet or ice accumulations off to the southeast, but there may be some there for a time. Let's take you to the GFS snowfall forecast. The GFS came down here late this afternoon, so this is some very fresh data here. And you can see the core of the heaviest snow axis runs from Kansas City to the Quad Cities and then up to near Milwaukee. That's, again, kind of the main axis where 5 to perhaps 9 inches of snow is expected on this particular model. That's assuming it's correct. It could still move a little bit as we've still got 24 hours to go. And I also throw in the high-resolution WRF. This came down this morning, so it's a little bit older than the GFS. But I do like the high-resolution aspect of the model here, and it's going to be important when it comes down tonight to fine-tune the details of the storm. But, well, you can clearly see it's a little bit more moist. It has a lot of snows in that 8 to 12-inch range. And when you get a system like this, sometimes there is some banding, and you get these heavy pockets of snow where 10 or 11 inches of accumulation would be a possibility. But we'll get another run of this before I want to go too far down the road on its heavier accumulations. Now then, as you take a look at the upper air aspect of the system, you can see what's driving this way down in New Mexico there. You can find New Mexico on the map. This is a little geography test for you. Come on now, don't choke on me. We got a big piece of energy getting set to move northeast. It's going to round the bend there and slingshot out into the Midwest. It's got a low-level jet there that's really cranking in the moisture, and this will produce good dynamics and lift and generate the snow that we're anticipating around the Midwest. And so here we are tomorrow evening then, and you can see how out of New Mexico this has jumped northeast and is now heading towards southwestern Missouri. So it's right out ahead of that when you have your best lift. So I think the heavier snows will start to develop in Iowa and northwestern Illinois as we get towards the evening hours then on Saturday night. And so that's when the winter storm warnings will really be kicking in around our immediate area. This then is the GFS depiction of the snow band. You can see the low pressure is over in Indiana, and so snow falling at this time here, and I believe this was at Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Yeah, so you can still see a lot of snow that extends from Lake Michigan, southeastern Wisconsin, and Illinois, right back down into northwestern parts of Missouri there, and that'll be tapering off then from southwest to northeast as the storm tracks on in a northeasterly direction. But there is some pretty good winds with the system here. I'm expecting some gusts that will probably get there into the range of, oh boy, 25 to maybe 30 miles an hour. So some blowing and drifting snow will be a distinct possibility. And there's also a pretty good chance that some spots will see, some accumulations that reach up there all the way around 8 to 10 inches. That's a pretty darn good snow. And if we get 6 inches in the Quad Cities, I'll be just thrilled to death about that. But there's a chance we could see a little bit more depending on where this thing tracks. But on the graphic you're looking at right here, this is an indication of the odds of how much the chances are for a 1 inch or greater snow. And right over the Quad Cities there, it's at 95%. So you guys out there that like to do the betting action, there you go. Put your money on that. And of course, Rudolph and the gang, they're all getting fired up at the North Pole there. They had a special meal tonight and a meeting going over their strategy. And so everybody's fattening up, ready for the ride, and they're not the least bit concerned about the storm. They're digging that. And the Santa Claus, too, he's getting all jacked up as well. And he likes the snow because he thinks it gets people in the holiday spirit. And I think most of you probably will. So he thinks, it's good to see everybody in a happy spirit. And he also likes the fact that Christmases are white at the North Pole. And this year it sure looks like many parts of the Midwest will experience the same thing. So he's going to feel right at home. Right, Santa? My buddy? What are you getting me this year? I've been a very good boy. Okay, well, that's it for your briefing tonight. I appreciate your joining me here. We'll have lots of information to come here in the days ahead. But in particular, new stuff coming down tonight and tomorrow, which will lead to the final aspects of our accumulation forecast. So please check back in for that. And in the meantime, as I always say, roll snow.